Welcome again to the Mesa City Council meeting for the evening of July the 10th. I will note for the record that Councilmember Goforth is unable to attend tonight and is excused, and Councilmember Summers is participating with us via Zoom. The rest of our council are present. We will begin this meeting with an invocation offered by Reverend Mindy Tucker of the Unity of Mesa Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're pleased tonight to have a couple of scouts with us that are going to help us with the pledge. We'll have scouts Macy Lane-Kilty and Sam Mike come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance following the invocation. So please stand for the prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. Calling our attention to the divine, to whatever name we have from our faith tradition, to what I call God, knowing that there's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives, God, the good omnipotence, affirming in gratitude for the divine wisdom that is flowing through the hearts and minds of our city council members, in gratitude for the caring hearts and minds that have come to speak on issues this evening, knowing that the wisdom of the divine is also flowing through them, in gratitude for this collective body representing the people of the city of Mesa, holding their highest interests at heart, knowing that the decisions that are made this evening and in every moment of the work that we all do for the city of Mesa are always holding these people in our minds and hearts, in great gratitude for wisdom, for courage, for compassion, for kindness, for love, and an ability to adhere to the law which has been put in place to protect us all. We say thank you, God, and amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Tucker, and thank you, Macy and Mike. Our next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. We invite Mr. Kevin Christopher to please come forward to read that agenda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. These are the items on the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings as written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for Room for Joy, one-day event August 19th, 2550 South Ellsworth Road. Item 3B, act on liquor license application for Amigos Market, 1350 West University Drive. Item 3C, act on liquor license application for East Mesa Market, 723 East Main Street. Item 3D, act on liquor license application for Beria Zolos, 1005 East Main Street. Item 3E, act on liquor license application for Smoking Hot Smoke Shop, 350 West Baseline Road. Item 3F, act on liquor license application for Main Street Harvest, 121 West Main Street. Item 3G, act on liquor license application for Fuel Bros, 6806 East Brown Road. Item 3H, act on liquor license application for Allegiant Air, 6250 South Taxiway Circle. Item 4A, approving contract for Central Mesa Interceptor Sewer Rehabilitation, pre-construction services and construction manager at risk. Item 4B, approving contract for fiber optic expansion phase 2. Package number 1 downtown and west inner loops, construction manager at risk, guaranteed maximum price number 2. This project is funded by the 2018 public safety bonds. Item 4C, approving contract for Central Mesa Reuse Pipeline, construction manager at risk, guaranteed maximum price number 3. Item 4D, approving contract for the studios at Mesa City Center Phase 2, part of the funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. Item 4E, approving ratification of emergency purchase for Baseline Road manhole and diversion structure rehabilitation. Item 4F, approving ratification of emergency purchase for water transmission main improvements Phase 1. Item 4G, approving one-year term contract with 4 years of renewal options for polyethylene natural gas pipes and fittings for the Materials and Supply Warehouse for the Energy Resources Department. Item 4H, approving dollar limit increase to the term contract for information technology solutions and services for various city departments, as requested by the Department of Innovation and Technology. Item 5A, approving resolution to purchase the Hibbert Garage located at 20 North Hibbert. Item 5B, approving resolution to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Green Creek Unified School District for reimbursement of the salary and benefits of a Mesa police officer to perform school resource officer duties. Item 5C, approving resolution to vacate portions of public right-of-way in the 3600 block of East Thomas Road to accommodate future development of a single-family residential subdivision. Item 6A, introduction of ordinance for zoning case 22-1332 for property located east of Power Road and north of Guadalupe Road. Site plan modification and amend conditions of approval on zoning case 88-32 to allow for a restaurant with a drive-through facility and a car wash. Item 6B, introduction of ordinance for zoning case 23-92 for property located south of Warner Road and west of Ellsworth Road. Site plan modification and amending conditions of approval of zoning case 21-595 to allow for an accessory minor automobile repair facility. Item 6C, introduction of ordinance for zoning case 23-235 for property located south of Warner Road on the east side of the 80th Street future alignment and on the north side of the Sebring Avenue future alignment. Rezone of the planned area development overlay and site plan review to allow for an industrial development. Item 7A, approving ordinance for annexation case 23-215, de-annexing public right-of-way to Maricopa County, consisting of property located within the 3800 to 3900 blocks of South Power Road, subject to approval by the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Item 7B, approving ordinance for zoning case 22-1003 for property generally located west of Greenfield Road and north of McDowell Road. Rezone of the planned area development overlay and site plan review to allow for an industrial development. Item 7C, approving ordinance for zoning case 22-1176 for property generally located east of Alma School Road and south of Southern Avenue. Rezone of the new planned area development overlay, council use permit, and site plan review to allow for multiple residence development. Item 7D, approving ordinance for zoning case 22-1168 for property generally located east of Country Club Drive and south of Main Street, rezoned within the form-based code regulating plan. Item 8A, approving subdivision plat DHI Longbow for property generally located north of McDowell Road, west of Record Road. Item 8B, approving subdivision plat estates at Pioneer Crossing for property located south of Thomas Road and east of Val Vista Drive. And item 8C, approving subdivision plat University and 202 for property generally located west of the Red Mountain 202 freeway on the north side of University Drive. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Ms. Mosley, I know that we do have a request to speak on agenda item 5A, so that will be removed from the consent agenda. Do we have any requests to speak on any other items on the consent agenda?
No other requests.
All right, thank you. We have a motion made by Mr. Freeman, seconded by Ms. Spilsbury. Please vote. Mr. Summers, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. All right, the consent agenda passes unanimously with Councilmember Goforth being absent. Next item on our agenda is agenda item 5A. This is approving the purchase of the Hibbert Garage located at 20 North Hibbert. We do have one request to speak on this. Mr. Farnsworth, you have 3 minutes.
Mayor and council, first of all, this item proposal is unconstitutional. Your complete description of reasoning for this purchase is to benefit the business people in downtown Mesa, which is discriminatory to the businesses in the rest of the city of Mesa. That's an unconstitutional request. Actually, this parking garage is a continuation of the blotched ASU project in 2016, when the voters in the city of Mesa turned down the proposal to raise the sales tax for the purchase of or to build the building for ASU and for public safety. 81,000 citizens voted against that proposal that day. Yet the city council turned around and says, oh, they really didn't vote against the ASU building, they just voted. Well, then you turned it around and you said, we'll just bring it back and we'll let 7 people make the decision instead of the 150,000 people that voted in that election with the city of Mesa. That's pretty egregious. The original deal called for a $63.5 million building for ASU. That's ballooned to, I understand, over $100 million. The garage parking is nothing short of replacing the parking lot that had to be removed in order to build the ASU building. I predicted during that debate that that's exactly the item that the city would face in the days to come, and here we are, trying to replace the parking lot that we removed in order to build the ASU building that the citizens of Mesa said no to. Moving 600 parking spaces from other parking areas to this proposed purchase is not necessary, as the city of Mesa has currently enough parking for its city employees. The city of Mesa is not a country club. Now you want to cater to the downtown businesses and give them a taxpayer subsidy for which only a very small fraction of the citizens will ever come to downtown Mesa and to enjoy the amenities that are down here. Well, it's not the citizens of Mesa's responsibility to make sure that there is ample parking in downtown for the businesses. It's the local businesses themselves. The $12 million cost with the building and the renovation is simply unacceptable under these terms. That's a cost that should be borne by the businesses in Mesa and downtown if they think that parking is the item that they need in order to be successful. Sunbelt needs to rent the garage out. It's been vacant. It's their property. Let them see if they can make a profit with it. Let them run a good business, and then you can determine whether or not down the road the city of Mesa could rent some of those parking spaces from them. That would be more feasible than
Thank you, Mr. Farnsworth. Your time is up.
and expending $12 million of the taxpayer money.
Thank you.
Here,
Mr.
can I
Brady,
just clarify a couple items?
Yes, please.
Because I think he kind of left it out there and didn't want to speak to the actual situation. We just talked about this downstairs. The city capped its contribution to the $63.5 million. The cost might have been over $100 million, but that wasn't on the city's ticket. That was a decision made by ASU, and they paid the difference. So no one should think that the city paid more than what it actually committed to, and the city auditor is going to check on that. So let's just make that very clear. The parking lot that ASU was built on may have had 30 parking spaces that were actually utilized during the time that building was there. So this is not, 40 parking spaces, now 900 parking spaces. This is an opportunity to provide for parking, and I think we'll disagree. We think that having more parking downtown is stimulating the businesses and our own activities, our art center, we're gonna have a new venue, the Post opening up soon. We're gonna have the studios opening up. We're creating a lot more demand downtown, so we think this is a great opportunity for the city to support the investments we've already made downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Brady, would you talk briefly about the source of the funds for this parking garage? Are there any bonds being issued?
No debt's being issued. Matter of fact, we're using cash from the sale of property downtown that we've been able to accrue. We received $2 million from the previous Brown & Brown Auto Nation. We were receiving back the $2 million. The city initially purchased the property that allowed this parking garage to be built to support a car dealership downtown. And so we've got back the $2 million plus the sale of other property downtown and throughout the city is how we're paying for it.
All right, thank you. Council, is there any discussion on this item? Thank you, Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Brady, and I think you need to point out that we paid cash for the downtown ASU building. We put about $23 million towards the cash, I think somewhere in that. So we do have, is it roughly about that amount?
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Mike, come help me.
So our indebtedness is way less than was anticipated?
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. Yes, we've used proceeds from other sales and those cash contributions. It's much less than that, yes.
Yeah, and I think that's a benefit to the downtown area, and it's going to affect the whole city of Mesa with having ASU and the programming there for.
Well, and I'll just, if you don't mind my saying this because it's true, many of the big developments that are already coming to downtown, they've all said the reason they're choosing to build downtown to bring residential is because ASU chose to come here first. We heard that from the Grove, we heard that from the Grid, we've heard that from Eco Mesa. So that investment has already stimulated payback to the city in several ways.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Any additional discussion? Yes, Ms. Duff.
Turn on my mic. I just wanted to point out that all the parking in downtown is public parking. none of the businesses own any of the lots, any of the garages. They're all public parking in which the city owns. The city does sell permits and earn revenue from those parking spaces. Also, it is very costly for us to use our centralized downtown parking next to the businesses for city employees. It is a better space for customers when you come to downtown to be able to use the spaces next to the businesses. And right now, there's a lot of complaints, a lot of pressures, people saying they don't want to come to downtown because it's too difficult to find parking. I had someone who's holding a meeting and having a handful of people. Where am I going to park? And we have to really search wide. Moving employees out, which are, yes, they do support the businesses, but we want to make sure customers that are coming to our downtown have access. So this is very typical for downtowns that use centralized parking. You get out of surface lots and you do a vertical parking and centralize. This is typical ways for urban areas. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Fitzwater.
I think we've gone over all of this in all of our discussions about this already, but one important point I think that needs to be made is that through all of the study of this, we need more parking, and to build a parking garage this size per space would have been, I don't remember what the number, but it was much higher than this. So we actually know we need this, and it will absolutely benefit the city and all the people that want to come and the huge growth in the city. And this is actually much, much cheaper to already have a garage there that we just have to do some renovations to than if we were to build one from the ground up, which we all see the need for it. And so I think this is kind of an incredible thing that we have one in a kind of a perfect location too. I hate walking, so I would love it to be even a little bit closer to the downtown area or to the city area. But it's good. They're going to move the location of the doors so people don't have to walk around the corner, and it will be safer to walk that distance and for our employees. And I think it just makes a lot of sense.
Okay, thank you. Any additional discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Summers.
to Councilmember Spilsbury's point, to put a number on it, I had Jim take a look at the agreement and the replacement costs from both appraisals that were run recently, even back in 2013-14. The replacement cost for this garage would be somewhere between $12.7 and $12.8 million. So the purchase price of $8 million is actually good value ultimately for if we had to replace these spaces from scratch. And that data's old, so we know that those replacement costs have likely gone up.
We think the replacement of a parking garage per space runs between $25,000 and $30,000 per space. So if you take that times 900, you're well above $30 million. So it seems like, I mean,
Yeah.
The nice thing is it's an existing parking garage that's depreciated. Obviously, it wasn't built, it was built for a car dealership, so we're gonna have to add the security and the elevators. But even then, at $12, $13 million, this is still less than half what we'd have to pay otherwise.
Yeah, Mr. Brady, I would agree with you on that one. And part of what was built into these models, I think, was the external economic obsolescence of the garage since the business has moved out. So the replacement cost, even at those minimums of the 13, 14, 12.8 to 12.7, 12.8 million, what we're paying for this garage is significantly less. So in the future, if we decide to step away from the parking business, if you will, and sell this into private hands, the city taxpayers will certainly see the money returned to the coffers and then some.
All right, thank you, Mr. Summers. Council, any additional discussion? All right, Mr. Freeman has made a motion seconded by Vice Mayor Heredia. Please vote. Mr. Summers, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Thank you. Thank you. That motion passes unanimously with Councilmember Goforth absent and excused. Next item on our agenda is item 9, items from citizens present. Ms. Mosley, I do have Mr. Farnsworth's card. Do you have any other cards?
He was the only one.
All right, thank you. Mr. Farnsworth, you have 3 minutes.
I think you still miss the point. Just because the citizens of Mesa have money in their account is not a reason to favor one business over another. How about a tax refund? I don't think Mesa's ever given one. I checked Miss Mosley, and none of you yet signed your little form that your name doesn't belong on that list. So anyway, I've asked her to put one in your box. We'll try the old adage, third time may be a charm. Mayor, your response at the end of each session of public comment. Mr. Farnsworth, as you know, we cannot respond to your time at this time to your comments. You know how to get a hold of me, but nobody has. So apparently, you're really not interested in responding at all. Since 2015, fentanyl overdose deaths have increased by 5,000%. Projected to be 100,000 deaths in the U.S. from fentanyl use this year alone. Federal agents just seized a ton of fentanyl in Arizona, enough to kill 453 million people. June the 5th, the date of a previous council meeting, 54 pounds of fentanyl pills and 2.5 pounds of meth were discovered in a traffic stop on I-17. Cartel human trafficking is producing horror stories every day, and just in the Arizona News on June the 19th was a story that said, article, cartels recruiting your children for human smuggling. Damage to private property by illegal entry of individuals under the influence of the cartel is an everyday occurrence. Yuma farmers plowing under crops ready for harvest because of human contamination. Cost to protect the American citizen and Arizona citizens escalating every single day. Article 3, Section 3, definition of treason, giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Fourth Amendment rights of citizens to be secure in their persons. Those are being violated constantly because of the cartel movement and illegal drug trafficking taking place across Arizona. Your job as part of the government process is to protect those rights, not expand them for the criminals. Any person on that list of February 23rd, 2023, if guilty, they're in violation of their oath of office and are guilty of said crimes, then this concern is bigger than falsified deeds and is amplified by the long-held claim, blood on your hands. I'm asking again for a full investigation, the city of Mesa, for all those whose names are on that list, to take whatever action is necessary and to confirm to the citizens of Mesa that their rights are being protected and that they have the right to enjoyment of life, liberty, and happiness in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the agenda for this meeting. Council, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Mr. Freeman and Ms. Spilsbury. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Summers. We are adjourned.